What's up guys, Jeff with Top Star Mobile Detailing Las Vegas. In today's video, we're gonna be going through my executive full detail on an XL SUV. I'm gonna walk you through the step-by-step process of how I do things and the reasons why I approach the detail the way that I do. That being said, let's jump into the video. So one of the first things that I like to do before I start detailing is you want to make sure you put on some gloves. Safety first. A lot of these products can be harmful to your skin and your health, so you always want to make sure that you're using the proper protection when detailing.
All right, so Jeff, what's your first step to the detail?
Yeah, so the first thing I like to do when I show up at the customer's house and we're starting on the detail, I like to do a perimeter sweep and just kind of take a look at what we're going to be working with. So as we look inside the vehicle, we notice there's a little bit of pet hair, some debris, some grime on the door jambs here. So I kind of just like to get a game plan in my head of how I'm going to approach the vehicle. Each one's going to vary a little bit depending on the condition of the vehicle. What I'm probably going to do to start this out, I'll pull out the floor mats first. I'm going to do a blowout of the vehicle, just loosen up any loose debris that might be in there. And then we'll vacuum everything out, pressure wash the door jambs here to remove some of this grime buildup. And then we're going to get into the extraction from that point. Like, you should get a tornador. So I can get one.
I'ma need safety. Tell her I can't snake me. Ray gun off safety. My girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going, I keep it factual. I'm on sabbatical.
Okay guys, so the first thing I'm gonna do is kind of blow out the vehicle with the tornador. Just loosen up all the debris. See all the dust?
Vasily, my honest, and my daughter Elise had their cars done by you.
Okay.
And yeah, they referred you to me. I actually ran across you when you were doing Vasily's car the other day. So
oh yeah.
that was me.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I've never had my car detailed. And I was hoping to get something up with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Elisa's car, but not as fancy. Acura.
Okay.
To 21.
It was the gray one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. And did you need the inside and exterior done as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. So on that size vehicle, it's $260. It'll take approximately 2.5 hours to complete the service. Did you have a day and time in mind that kind of worked best for you?
I am sure you're busy today.
Today I'm booked. Usually I book up a couple days in advance. I do have availability tomorrow though, if you're open till tomorrow.
Okay. Let me see what's going on tomorrow.
Okay.
Preston.
Or I have a Tuesday at 8 a.m. Or a Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
Kevin Medcap. You know what? Can I get back to you? I'm going to talk to my other daughter.
Okay.
To see, because she just is not with me. She moved out.
Okay.
So I need to talk to her. She's my assistant, so I don't know where I'm going. Let me call you back, Jeff, and I'll set something up. Do you care if it's morning or afternoon?
Whatever's going to be most convenient for you. I start at 7 a.m. in the morning and go till dark. Okay. So I'm pretty open on Thursday and Friday. It's just Wednesday is the only day that I'm completely booked on Wednesday, so that one wouldn't be an option for me.
Okay, so Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday.
Yep. And can you tell me your name one more time?
Yeah, I'll text it to you at this number. I'm Mary Cop.
Okay.
I'll just text you my contact information so you have it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Mary. And I look forward to seeing you and detailing the car.
Thank you.
Okay.
You as well.
All right.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so that was an incoming potential sales call. I get those throughout the course of the day. She's actually a referral from another customer that I just did a couple of days ago. So it really just comes down to scheduling with that one. The price isn't really going to be an issue or anything. It just comes down to lining up what day and time is going to work best for her. And then we'll get her set up with the express full detail on her SUV, and that'll be good to go.
Okay, so Jeff, how do you deal with calls all day when you're detailing?
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of the business, you know, and I make it a point to try to answer every single call that I get as it's coming in. If not, then I'm returning that call within 5 to 10 minutes at the latest, because if you don't reach out back to those clients right away in a timely manner, they're most likely just going to move on to the next detailer and book with whoever answers the phone first. So I always try to be actively engaged with answering the phone and following up as quickly as possible.
All right, Jeff, what's next?
Yeah, so we're gonna be moving into the vacuuming process now. I did switch over to the extension cord, and we're gonna be running off of the customer's power instead of the generator. Normally I wouldn't do this, but when you're filming, you have the generator cranking around in the back. It just kind of is a little bit disturbing, and I want to have the best sound quality as possible for you guys, so we switched over to that.
All right, Jeff, let's get into it.
Let's do it. So one of the things that a lot of detailers miss when doing these third row vehicles is you not only want to flip up the seats, but you want to slide these as far forward as possible. That's going to expose all the debris that's been hanging out under these seats. So you want to make sure that you're able to vacuum all this area out, as well as the seat tracks. So make sure you're moving this stuff all the way forward so you can get underneath properly. So one thing I want to point out to you guys, when you're doing this vehicle, Dodge Journeys, it does have a little hidden compartment under the seat. Check this out here. So you want to make sure you not only vacuum this out, but you take out that rubber insert that's in there and scrub that down as well. So it's just paying attention to these little details throughout the vehicle where you don't want to miss this stuff. Like, if I hadn't seen that, the customer's going to check under there and say, you missed this whole area, right? So just pay attention to those little details. When you see things like a little loop like that, you know, learn to identify these things as like, hey, what's under here? You know, check this stuff out, okay? Another thing I like to do is you want to pull out all these rubber inserts rather than trying to clean them in the vehicle with a brush and all that. I like to just pull them all out, and we're going to throw them in a bucket and let them soak with a little bit of APC. So I use just basically like this little plastic pick tool here. You want to use something that has kind of an edge but not sharp to where it's going to damage the vehicle, and you can just get these under the little rubber inserts here and just pull all of those out. So we just go around the vehicle, pull all those out. We're gonna drop them in a bucket and let them soak while we're doing the car. They'll be nice and clean by the time we're done, and then we'll put them all back in at the end.
All right, so Jeff, have you ever had one of your clients say that you damaged their vehicle?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, I did have that happen very recently, but for now I want to stick to the process, and we'll come back to that in the end of the video, so stick around and I'll tell you guys what happened.
Do you need to get every little crumb out of the car with the vacuum before you start the extraction process?
So the idea is you want to try to get as much debris out of the vehicle as possible while it's still dry. You don't need to get every little single crumb. We are gonna come back at the end and do a final perimeter sweep of the car with the vacuum and just kind of touch up any little things that may have fallen back into the vehicle. So the idea is to just get as much out as possible, you know, that 95%-ish, and don't worry about every little crumb. We'll get the rest out at the end.
So Jeff, COVID's over. Why are you wearing a mask?
Yeah, so for this stage, I'm just drilling out the carpets here. It's gonna have a lot of dust kicking up, dog hair, stuff like that. I don't really wanna be breathing that in because it's not really good for you. So you wanna protect your eyes. I recommend just having like a face mask to cover your nose and mouth while you're doing this. Not really any need to vacuum the mats here. We're simply gonna drill brush it with this, pressure wash these, and then we're gonna extract this out. So that's why I'm wearing the mask, not because of COVID reasons.
All right, Jeff, so now that the mats have been drill brushed, what's next?
Yeah, so the next step is we're going to pressure wash down the mats here just to get them nice and wet. We're gonna spray it down with some Carpet Bomber by P&S, and then we're gonna drill brush these out, and then we're gonna use the extractor to extract out all the dirty water. So to get started, we're just gonna grab these. So the idea here really is just to get most of the loose dirt out. Really just want to get them nice and wet, and then we're going to come in with the extractor later and we'll pull all the dirty water out, and we'll be left with nice clean carpets, and then we'll leave those here in the sun to dry. Okay guys, so the next step of the extraction process is we've got the water heated up in the extractor, the pump's on, we're gonna turn the vacuum on, and we're just gonna run this down and extract out all the dirty water from the mats. We're gonna follow that same process inside the vehicle. It's pretty simple. We're just gonna kick this on real quick. Here we go. You can see the dirty water coming out of the mats. Yeah. So what I like to do now, guys, is turn the mat around, and then we're gonna hit it from another direction. The reason why you wanna do this is the fibers will trap the dirt in, so you want to hit it from different angles. I usually just go 2 different directions, and then the mat should be clean at that point. You can already see that the water's much cleaner.
All right, Jeff, what do you like to do next?
So the next step of the process is we're going to come back here. You can see how the door jambs are really grimy here. There's a lot of buildup around here. We are going to use the pressure washer to just strip away some of the grime and buildup that you see around the door jambs. We're not going to spray inside the car. It's really just around the jambs. So you want to be careful when you're using this that the water doesn't go all over the inside of the car. So just start off like this. Now, we're not going to do this on every single vehicle. If this were an express or a maintenance, you're probably not going to have this build up on here. But since this is an executive package that we're doing, it's usually going to be a little bit more grimy. It doesn't really matter if the water gets in here to the edges because we are going to be steam cleaning this and extracting this out as well. So it's not a big deal if the water gets in on the edges of the carpet. What you want to avoid is any of the spray getting up here on the dash, on the screens, or anything like that. So just be mindful of that when you're using the pressure washer. This is going to cut down your time cleaning out the door jambs. We're still going to wipe these out with a towel and everything later. This is just going to take off the majority of the grime. When you're doing this, you want to do it with one door at a time, because if the other door is open, all the spray will go through into the front of the vehicle.
Yeah, like it's nothing. In the kitchen chopping onions. Yeah, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Hey, yeah, like it's nothing. Hey, earn my respect and burn a budget. Hey, tears falling down. Underdog is finally.
Now we're moving on to the inside of the vehicle. I'm not going to go into extracting the floors. It's the same exact process that I just showed you on the mat, so a little redundant to do that all over again. What I am going to show you is the process on the seats, which is pretty much the same thing as well. We're just going to give it a light misting with the Carpet Bomber by P&S. Hit the back. Now you might notice on these seats that part of the seats are leather, part of it is cloth. So we're only extracting the part that's cloth. You don't want to use a steamer on the leather because that could damage the leather. So we're just going to be hitting these center portions here. Okay, so now that the Carpet Bomber has been applied, we're just going to give it a light mist with the water. On the drill brush, we swap the head. This is a softer head. You want to use this on the seats because if you're using the yellow brush, it's very stiff bristles and it can tear up the fabric on the seats. And again, we're not pushing down heavy on this. It's just very light for the agitation. It's just to kind of stir up any dirt that's on the surface of the material. And then same thing on the back. That's about it. I'm gonna flip on the vacuum. And you can see the dirt coming out. Then after that, we're gonna give it one pass with no trigger, so we're not putting any more water into the seat. We're just doing it dry where this is going to pull out any of the excess water. You can see the water coming out there. Here in Vegas, it's pretty dry, so these seats will dry out pretty quickly. And then the last step is you want to give the fabric a wipe down with a towel. The reason being for this is if you don't do this, the moisture will wick back up to the surface. It can, a lot of times it'll pull that dirt up the fibers and back to the surface. So always give it a wipe down at the end with a microfiber towel and just soak up any remaining moisture on there. And that's going to get off any surface level dirt and prevent the wicking. Now that the extraction part is completed, we're going to move on to the wipe down process. I like to start in the driver's cockpit area and work my way around the vehicle counterclockwise. First thing I like to do is I start off with my Ninja Scrubber, a little P&S Express Interior. We're just going to give that a little misting, not too wet, just enough to kind of coat the pad. Oh, what do we got here? Little CD action. Vanilla ice. Ice, ice, baby. Yeah.
Hey Jeff, I know that you just went to the Koch Chemicals training event. You're a pretty advanced detailer, you've been doing this for a while. Why did you feel the need to go to that?
Yeah, so I think training's one of those things that you should always be learning and continuing to grow. It reminds me of this story about these two lumberjacks. I don't know, maybe some of you guys have heard this story before, maybe some of you haven't, but it goes like this. So there's these two lumberjacks, and every day they go into the forest to chop wood. They start at the same time, they finish at the same time, but one of the lumberjacks takes a break in the middle of the day. He takes an hour break, and at the end of the day, the guy that takes the break always has more wood chopped than the other lumberjack. And so a couple weeks go by, they're out there chopping wood, and the lumberjack says to the one that takes the breaks, he's like, I don't get it, man. Like, we both come out here, we both work the same amount of hours, but you take an hour break every day and you still end up chopping more wood than me. And he's like, how is that? And the one that takes the break says, I take an hour to go sharpen my axe, right? So you have to take time out to sharpen your axe, right? And that's what training essentially is you're taking that time to yourself to sharpen your skill set, sharpen your axe. So don't forget to sharpen your axe, guys. Top Star Detailing, this is Jeff.
Hey Jeff, how's it going? I needed some detailing on my cars. I just wanted to see how much you guys charge per car.
Yeah, sure. What type of vehicles are they?
One's Escalade.
Okay.
And then one's a Bentley and a G-Class.
Okay. Were you looking to get full details on them, interior and exterior?
Yeah, interior, exterior.
Okay. On the Escalade, the extra large SUVs are $290. On the is the Bentley an SUV or a sedan?
It's the sedan.
On the sedans, it's $220. And then what was the other one? Was it a G-Wagon?
Yeah, G-Class.
On that, it would be $260, but you get 10% off the entire service if the vehicles are booked for same-day service at the same location.
Gotcha. And is this like your detailed wash, or is this a basic wash, or what is
This
that?
would be it would include everything except carpet shampooing. So as long as you don't have heavy stains on the carpets or anything like that, you really wouldn't need the executive that would involve steaming and shampooing.
Okay. Is that your lowest cost washes you guys have?
Yeah, that's our express package. So that's going to be a full vacuum out, wipe down all the interior cracks and crevices. All your glass would be streak free. On the exterior, we do a hand wash. We get in the rims and barrels of the tires, clean out all that brake dust buildup for you, dress the tires, and then we put like a 3 to 6 month sealant on there for you, like a ceramic based product that will make it really hydrophobic, where the water just kind of beads up and rolls right off the vehicle.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me look at my schedule. I'll let you guys know.
Okay, yeah, we usually book out a couple days in advance. So if it's something you want to line up, same day service is a little tight, but if we have a couple days notice, we should be able to fit you in.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.
Okay, bye. Now that we completed the interior wipe down, we're going to be moving on to the glass. This glass has a heavy buildup of like a film on there, so you don't want to just go right into using a glass cleaner and a microfiber towel. What I like to do, what I would recommend is, this is Optimum No Rinse. I like to put a little bit of this. We got some spot-free water in the bucket here. Not a lot on this, just like about that much. And then we're gonna soak the towel in that for a second. And before we do the glass cleaner, we're just gonna go around the car and wipe all the windows with this first. This is gonna remove that dirt buildup in that film, and then we'll come in with the glass cleaner later just to clean up the streaks. So after you wipe it with the Optimum No Rinse, I'm just gonna take a dry microfiber, give it a quick wipe. You can see already that the glass looks really clean now. We will still come back with the actual glass cleaner, clean towel, and we'll give it a once over with that as well. So now that the interior has been completed, we're gonna move on to the exterior of the vehicle. What I like to do is I like to start with the wheels first. So we're gonna jump on over here to the wheels, sit down on my bucket of wisdom. The product that I'm using on this, these wheels are pretty grimy. So this is Dark Fury. This stuff is excellent for stripping off heavy brake dust buildup, dirt, road grime. So I like to go with that. I like to start off with a little pre-rinse on the wheel. This just strips away all the loose brake dust. You can see it pouring out here, so it's good to give it a little rinse and just get the loose stuff off first. After the pre-rinse, we're just gonna go ahead and hit it with the Dark Fury. You don't wanna breathe this in, so kind of step back a little bit. Hit the wheel wells with it as well. That'll strip off any dirt buildup. We're just gonna let that sit for a second, let it kind of eat away. You can see already it's stripping away the dirt there. Top off our bucket. We're just gonna start off giving the tires a little scrub here. And then we'll get the inside of the wheel well. You don't have to go too deep all the way to the back, just kind of where it's visible. And then we're gonna jump over to this brush for the rims. Then we're gonna switch over to this brush just to get the barrels. You get in deep there. You can see all that grime coming out, that buildup. This is really the only way that you can get into the barrels with this easy detail brush.
Link is in the description, guys.
We're just gonna work our way around the wheel. We'll finish up, knock out the rest of the wheels, and then we're gonna move on to the exterior of the vehicle.
So Jeff, how many executive details do you usually do a week?
It varies. Like today, we actually have 2 executive details. I would say in comparison to the express details, it's maybe 1 out of 10 is an executive. We tend to do a lot more express details than the executive packages.
Okay. How long does the executive package usually take, typically?
Yeah, for one person, when I'm doing it solo, I block off for a vehicle this size, 3rd row SUV, usually approximately 5 to 6 hours, depending on the interior, whether it has upholstery or leather seats or not. If it has upholstery, you're extracting all of the seats as well, so it does take a bit longer. When you're running a helper with me, we can usually knock it out in about 4 hours time total. Let me know what you guys think. How long does it take you approximately to do your equivalent of your executive package versus your express package? 1 guy versus 2 guys. Curious to see what your timeline's like on those. So Jeff, what type of foam are you using for this detail? For this, we're gonna be going with the Coach Chemi active foam. We're gonna be stripping off any dirt buildup on the vehicle. There's already a little bit of GSF in the foam cannon from the last car, which doesn't really make a difference. We're just gonna kind of add this in on top. And you know, it's technically supposed to be using like accurate measurements on this. I've been doing this a long time, so I'm pretty familiar with what amount should go in there. I kind of just use the glug method. It's either 1 glug, 2 glugs, or 3 glugs. So in this one, we went with like a 1.5 glugs and we'll be good to go.
All right, Joe.
Yeah.
Touchdown, buzzer beater, do it all now. All now, top corner talking home run. Touchdown, buzzer beater, do it all now. All now, top corner like all in. Lit the fire when you doubted, now I'm all in. Put me with the best, bring the stars in. Undefeated mode, no falling. Doubted when I lost, slide back when I win. Fade and pay the cost, but I rose.
So now that we finished the exterior wash on the vehicle, we're going to be moving into the clay stage. We're using a clay mitt here. This is actually going to take off all the contaminants on the paint, anything like sap or just that road grime that's been built up over time. So we're going to foam down the vehicle, hit it with the clay mitt, and then we'll rinse it off, and then it'll be ready for the sealant.
What brand do you use, Jeff?
This is by Nanoskin. The clay mitts are really good. I think they're around like $50 per mitt. I prefer these over the clay bars. They're just a lot easier. You can get your hand inside of them and keep working really quickly. So I like to go with the mitts. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like to use the actual clay, or do you prefer the mitts?
All right, let's get it.
Okay, so when you're using the clay mitt, you don't really need a clay lube. The foam is actually going to act as its own lubricant, and you're just going straight up and down motions. Don't go swirls or anything like that. Just straight lines. You'll be able to feel the mitt grabbing. I don't know if you can hear it on there, but you'll feel it actually grabbing all the particles on there and stripping it off. Once it starts to glide really smooth, then you know you can move on to the next panel. I don't know if you can hear that on there, but I can actually hear it grabbing the particles on there.
How long does this process usually take, Jeff?
It depends if you're working with one guy or two guys. With one person, the whole vehicle, you know, approximately 20 minutes maybe. The tricky thing is in the summertime, working in the sun, you have to work in sections, so it will take longer because you can't just foam down the whole vehicle here in Vegas anyway, or it'll be completely dry and the soap will be baked onto the car before you can get around the other side of the vehicle. So you do have to work in small sections. Now that the final stage of the clay bar has been completed, we're going to move on to our wet coat process. I use Geon wet coat. This is going to be our sealant that we use for the vehicle. This is going to make it really hydrophobic, where the water just beads up and rolls right off the car, and offer a few months protection as well. So the way that you want to start off with this is you want to wet the panels like this. You can see how flat they are now. There's no protection whatsoever. We're going to give it a quick spray. Then we're just going to lightly mist this on here. And you don't need to let it sit on there very long, especially if it's in the sun. You want to get it off as quickly as possible. You want to rinse from the bottom up, like this. You can see how it's beading up already. The reason why you want to rinse from the bottom up is it's going to help spread the product on the actual panels. If you just go down, it's just going to force it all off and you're going to lose half the product. So check out the difference here in these two panels. Nothing on this one at all, completely flat. Look at how that just beads up and rolls right off. Huge difference, huge difference. All right, so we'll hit these two real quick. And you can see how it has kind of like a milky color to it. You want to keep rinsing until that's completely clear. You don't want to leave that on there because it will leave streaks on the paint. So make sure you keep rinsing until that like milky color is gone. So one of the only drawbacks about cleaning a vehicle like this is it does expose some of the imperfections, the scratches that are on the paint, where you don't really notice that as much when it has a layer of dirt on it. So now that it's cleaned up it is going to be more prominent to see those scratches and things like that. We did discuss the option of a potential paint enhancement / correction, and they opted to not go that route on this vehicle. It is a daily driver, so they weren't too concerned about it. But you know, one of the things you want to be aware of is once you get it clean, those scratches are going to come out, and you'll see them a lot more. You can see here.
Okay, Jeff, so we just did the tire shine. What's the last step?
So the last thing we're gonna do is the black trim here. You can see it looks a little faded. We're gonna bring that back to life. The product that I'm using is the Mother's Back to Black. You can get this on Amazon or pretty much anywhere, O'Reilly's. I think even Walmart has it. What you do is just give it a little shake. You don't wanna use this when it's really windy because it will spray all over the place, but you can see here. And then you just give it a little wipe. And you can see how that's nice and shiny again. Just kind of brings the plastics back to life. You can also use that on these areas here, around the wheel wells. That's how I do my executive full detail. Shared with you the step-by-step process. I know I told you earlier on that I was going to share the rest of that story with you. So recently I had a customer that said that I caused some damage on his vehicle, right? So on the dashboard, there was this little white mark on black leather, and it wasn't there when we started the detail. And when he came out later, he was pointing it out saying, "What's this? What's this?" And I actually didn't notice it, but what we realized was the person that had sold it to him had actually covered it up with some type of like black dye that masked the white stain that was on the dash. So when we were doing our cleaning process, we actually unveiled that when we were using the P&S interior. So it was one of those things where I was really like scratching my head, like how could this possibly happen? None of the products that we use could have caused this damage. I've used P&S pretty much my whole detailing career. It's diluted properly. We're using a soft microfiber towel. So there was really nothing that we could have done that would have caused this type of damage. And then after speaking with him, you know, we realized that, hey, it was the person who actually owned the vehicle before had masked it, and we just uncovered that. And then after talking with the customer, he was okay with it. But just curious to see if anything like that's ever happened to you guys. Have you ever had a customer that said maybe you caused damage to the vehicle that you didn't actually do, or maybe you did do? Drop it in the comments below. Curious to hear what you guys have to say about that and what your input is. If you guys are getting value out of these videos, appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.